What's up, everybody? It's Andrew coming back at you with another episode of the Jaguar podcast. In today's episode, we are going to be discussing whether Trevor Lawrence is going to be ready for training camp or the regular season. So let's get into it. Before we start, though, as always, if you want to support the channel, hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon if you want updates on the latest content. All right, so the question has been looming on my mind for a while now. Will Trevor Lawrence actually be ready for the regular season and training camp? I mean, maybe he misses some of it. There's been the, shoulder injury that he had, torn labrum. He had surgery on that, but, it's really unknown whether he's going to be fully recovered during training camp and actually be ready for the regular season. And I have some concerns about this. And mainly, this isn't just me voicing concerns. It's actually, the Jags media has been concerned. Eugene Frenet, a Jacksonville Jaguars sports reporter, was at some of the OTAs. He saw Trevor Lawrence and he was having some issues completing passes, and he put out a tweet. I think it was in late May, and I'll read it from here. It says, Trevor has struggled making connections on 7-on-7 drills, overthrowing 4 passes and another broken up. And then a few weeks later in OTAs, one of the Jacksonville Jaguars reporters in a press conference asked Urban Meyer what the deal was with Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor did not participate in a practice. So this is what the reporter asked Urban during the press conference.
Can you give us a little update of just Trevor? I mean, he didn't, participate in a lot of the work, but just and we saw him on the side doing some little rehab. Can you give us an update of where he stands health-wise?
Yeah, if we had to go, we could have went. There being our trainers and Shadi are being a little cautious, because right now, when you're a month out, hamstrings, you yank a hamstring now, you're going to miss early part of training camp. So we're just being cautious. That's that one muscle that, you guys have all seen it like I have. You pull a hamstring at this point, you're going to miss all your summer conditioning. So we're being somewhat conservative on it, but he actually could play a game if he had to.
Okay, so what I take from Urban's answer is that they were concerned that Trevor Lawrence may have a hamstring issue or injury. They don't want to risk it in practice, but then proceeded to tell the reporter that he could play a full game with, or in his current state, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
Idiot!
In my opinion. How can you play a full game if you have a hamstring injury? Maybe if they give you medications or something, but honestly, I wasn't really buying that at all. I think there's definitely an issue with Trevor Lawrence with the recovery phase of the torn labrum surgery that he had. So I think it's kind of a question, right? Will he be ready? He's having some issues completing passes. And this, I'm not dogging Trevor Lawrence. I don't want this to come across as, I'm not a fan of him, or I'm kind of criticizing him. I mean, he had a major surgery. And I said this in previous episodes that, recovery from this type of surgery, people don't think it's a big issue because it's not his throwing hand, it's on his, or throwing arm rather, but it's his left shoulder. It's still going to affect his mechanics. And I always go back to, the 2019 season when Nick Foles had his broken clavicle. He got hit pretty hard. I mean, this was a pretty big hit by, I think it was Chris Jones. body slammed him. He broke his clavicle, and he never really seemed like he was the same. He just looked uncomfortable in the pocket. He didn't look like he was moving around as well. He wasn't completing passes. So I think this is going to be a long recovery for Trevor Lawrence. We may not see him in week 1. I think that's absolutely a possibility. I think it's plausible. And I'm going to read a quote from Urban Meyer here. Urban Meyer said that, he was asked by a reporter, and this was in an article I was reading. He said it was a 5 to 6 month recovery time, looking at August to be 100% for Trevor. So yeah, I mean, who knows what happens, right? He could pull a hamstring, or he could, have an injury, and it's definitely going to be an interesting situation. I don't think it'd be an issue, starting Gardner Minshew. Balls, man. I think the guy is a really good quarterback. He's definitely a good backup. I didn't think he had the, weapons/situation, the right situation last year. A lot of fans dog him. I'm not a Minshew stan, guys. I'm not like a fanboy or anything. I just appreciate what he did with what he was, working with as a 6th round pick out of Washington State, and coming in just in a real kind of clown show situation, to say the least, with, the Doug Marrone regime, and then, John DeFilippo, and then having to learn different systems. And it seems like he had a really good OTA. So a lot of good talk about him. He looked pretty good. I guess he's rocking the short haircut now. But I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I'm really interested to hear what you think. Do you think Trevor will be ready? Do you think he'll be 100% in training camp, or do you think he starts week 1, or is Gardner Minshew the starter? And again, this is not just something that I'm bringing up to start controversy. This was actually, there was a presser recently with Brian Schottenheimer, the passing coordinator under Urban Meyer's, or in Urban Meyer's coaching staff. He said it's up in the air right now. We haven't named a starter.
We certainly haven't named a starter, Gary. Our objective from day one was to build the best quarterback room that we could. We knew what we had in Gardner. CJ was a guy that we looked at on film, and we saw him make a lot of the plays and have some of the athleticism that we really, really like from our quarterbacks. Jake Luton was a guy that was highly sought of last year. I know we really liked him in Seattle when he came out. And then, of course, you get a chance to add a Trevor Lawrence to the mix. You're going to do that. But, we're not in a position where we're saying, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're letting them all roll. Everybody's getting reps. We want this thing to be really competitive. Ultimately, when we name a starter, we'll name a starter, and Urban will do that when he's ready.
And I was watching ESPN, and Rich Eisen had some interesting thoughts on it. He was like, no way. All right, no way. There's no way that this is up in the air. But I think it could be plausible based on Trevor Lawrence's, surgery and his issues with, recovery time. And I mean, I think it's absolutely plausible we see Gardner Minshew potentially, or whoever, CJ Beathard, or whoever wins the job at week 1, and Trevor maybe sits out week 1, or sits out a couple games and learns. But let me know how you guys feel about this. Leave me a comment on the YouTube video or podcast episode. Subscribe to the channel as always. Stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy. Go Jags, and I'll see you next time. Duval! What's up, everybody? It's Andrew from the Jaguar Podcast. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, there's more content over here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as always. And remember, this is a podcast, so you can find this pretty much wherever you find podcasts. There I'll be doing interviews of current and former Jaguars players, including Joe Schobert, DeJuan Smoot, Shaq Quarterman, etc. And I also do interviews of former Jaguars players, including Natron Means, Jimmy Smith, Tom McManus, etc. So be sure to check out the podcast, subscribe to it, stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy, go Jags, and I'll see you next time.